So hello, KZOOMers.
Hey, everyone.
I read this quote just before I came on, but actually I'm the one I'm quoting me. Is it still a quote if I'm quoting me?
Meta quotes or something.
So if I quote me, I said, what you do is only a vehicle for how you do it and who you become in the doing of it.
Mm.
That's the quote.
That's a good one.
What you do is only the vehicle for how you do it and who you become in the doing of it. And I might say that it's true of our spiritual practice, of the chant that we are chanting, is how what you chant, what notes come out, what it sounds like. It's only the vehicle for these other midot, these qualities that you bring to it, because you are awakening these qualities. And there is a becoming that is, it's like you are becoming someone through the practice. And I like to put less emphasis on what you do, rather than how you do it, meaning like what you're bringing to it, and who you are becoming through that practice. That's kind of what I want to pay attention to, and I know that even in the Zoom, we kind of depend on each other's intention, presence, energy, encouragement. And so I just want to take a moment to look around the Zoom room to encourage each other in our
Diana.
practice. Oh, Diana, you made it. Good.
Yay.
To encourage each other in the practice.
Sweet faces.
That there is a becoming that happens. So what you do is the vehicle, and for how you do it, and who you are becoming through the doing. And I in this curriculum that the Song of Songs is giving us, each week there's another kind of unfolding and deepening of that curriculum, and the words that are with me this week are words that are about the divine embrace. And the Song of Songs says that embrace, what it feels like is that God's left hand is behind my head, and God's right hand is embracing me. So there is this divine embrace, and and it does me zero good unless I can lean into it. So that embrace
Yeah.
is there, but if I can't lean into it,
Can't receive it.
I'm not receiving the benefit of it. And the benefit is amazing. When I can receive the benefit of that divine embrace, I feel held. And when I feel held, I relax. And when I relax, then I open to the divine flow and receive that support. So that's the precious circle that we're in. So I wanted to just to bring a teaching from the Slonimer Rebbe to begin with, because he kind of starts to point us towards what we're going to be exploring in this KZOOM, which is this element of faith or trust, that I can not lean into that embrace unless I cultivate that basic trust, that faith. But he teaches that there are three rungs of faith, of the word emunah. The first level is trusting mind, how we think about it, really. Trusting heart. So trusting mind is emunat hamoach, and trusting heart is emunat halev, and that's the feeling sense of our trust. But there is a rung, and this is kind of surprising, still higher. Trusting with your limbs or with your embodiment, which is in Hebrew is emunat ha'evarim, with your limbs, and it's like your body. Where emunah, faith, penetrates every fiber of your being, where horror can't seize you, for your whole body feels the protective divine presence. Complete emunah, he says, occurs when it unfolds in all three dimensions, as King David said, and this is from the Psalms, "My heart and my flesh sing to the living God." And that's kind of what I want to do tonight. I want the heart and the flesh to be singing. So not just the heart, but also the flesh, our skin and our muscles, our bones and limbs also sing to the living God. For emunah suffuses our entire being. So I wanted to bring that as a kind of an overall kavanah for our practice, because I really think that when we are cultivating this trust that allows us to lean into the divine embrace, we can't leave out the body. We have to feel that support in our bodies, and as we chant, it feels like what we can do is kind of awaken the sensation in our whole bodies, awaken the vibration in the whole body that is singing to God, and allow a kind of a relaxation, a leaning in to a sense of that we are supported in every way. And so just to feel to feel your feet on the ground, sort of supporting your legs, and feel your legs supporting your torso, and feeling your torso supporting your arms, and feeling your arms supporting your neck, and feeling that neck supporting your head, and that your whole body really receiving that sense of support so that it can suffuse your entire being. Doesn't that sound good? Yes, let's do that. And so that's the emunat ha'avarim, and the emunat halev is this kind of knowing deep inside of this essential goodness. And emunat hamoach is just a kind of like to imagine it, really, to take, everything that you have and imagine that you are held. And that kind of leads you, that imagining leads you to the truth of it. So that's kind of what the Kav and I want to bring to these practices. And so this first practice, which is called timeless, time and place, place. Like, it's kind of like saying it's a description of Shabbat consciousness. All the days of the week I have to get stuff done, and
you have to know what time it is.
You have to right.
In the week, yeah.
and on Shabbat, you can enter into the timeless time and the placeless place, and time is sometimes a problem when people always are saying there's not enough time, not enough time in the day, which is kind of ridiculous, because it's just a whole construct, So I read this book by Jacob Needleman called the Time and the Soul, and the whole book to me summed up in this one line that says, the soul's answer to the problem of time is the experience of timeless being. The soul's answer to the problem of time is the experience of timeless being. And I wrote that up, above my computer to remember that, because I need to kind of relax and enter into that place of timeless being. And miraculously, when I do, stuff seems to get done. So let's see if we can go there with this practice to that place of timeless being, and we do it by relaxing, by leaning into the divine embrace.
Smolo, tachat, ruchi, vimino, tachat, Smolo, tachat, ruchi, vimino, tachat. I am resting in this divine embrace. Oh, timeless time and placeless place. I am resting in this divine embrace. divine embrace. Oh, timeless time and placeless place, I am resting in this divine embrace. Oh, timeless time and placeless place.
So imagine leaning into those arms. Relaxing, opening, receiving the flow. Jason Schulman says that the ultimate container is God. That is container that holds but does not contain but allows. So a container that doesn't just kind of like constrict, really. It allows. It is so big. It allows everything. Only God is big enough to hold all your contradictions, all your limitations and difficulties, all your good and evil, all of you, every part with nothing left out, is held by God. So there's a sense in that embrace that I am expanding into my fullness. I'm not, I am given a kind of a permission in that embrace, not just to lean, but to expand into it. But when I, as I go onto this path of cultivating that kind of trust, there's a lot of healing that I am led to, because every time in my life that I have sort of trusted in the wrong thing, in something less than God, and been either disappointed or betrayed. Every time that happens, something kind of shuts down. There's I think I might have brought this teaching once before from George Feuerstein. He says ultimately there can be no complete healing until we have restored our primal trust in life. So that primal trust in life, that's something that that Almas, A.H. Almas calls basic trust. He says basic trust is a non-conceptual confidence in the goodness of the universe, an unquestioned implicit trust that there is something about the universe and human nature and life that is inherently and fundamentally good, loving, and wishing us the best. This innate and unformulated trust in life and reality manifests as a willingness to take that plunge into the abyss. So what I notice in spiritual development is that abyss is always there. The abyss is being able to leave what we know and step into the unknown. That's a risk, and we won't do it unless we kind of feel that basic trust that gives us the inspiration, really, to know that that we can take that risk of stepping into the unknown. And kind of spiritual development kind of moves along that path of through the abyss, always. So it feels like that our, as spiritual practitioners, what we do is we keep working on that basic trust, so that we can take the risk and step into whatever unknown is being given to us in this next moment. So I wanted to bring a practice that I call trusting. And the Hebrew of it says Shavti beveit Adonai, which is I will dwell, I will live, I will sit in the house of God. It comes from Psalm 23. So and what I added to it is in English a kind of an inner gesture that I say, I place myself in your care. It's like well, the next practice is surrendering, but it's a kind of a surrender into those and a leaning into that, knowing that I will be held as I step into that abyss. I will be held. And I think of this practice as a kind of also like a celebration of that truth, and remembering every time that I have had the rug pulled out from under me in my life, and there was a rug underneath. It was God, the God rug underneath that rug that held me. So I want to kind of celebrate it and have that be the inspiration that each moment I want to place myself in your care, in the place of that embrace.
That basic trust.
Yeah.
You can't do that unless I can really trust and let go.
Yeah, let go. So, if you want to place on the altar anything that is keeping you from that place of trust, and then we'll just kind of enter into this possibility here. Shavti beveit Adonai, Shavti beveit Adonai, Shavti beveit Adonai, I place myself in your care. Aylecha, 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 Shavti beveit So feel that emunat hamach, faith of the mind, and emunat halev, faith of the heart, emunat ha'evarim, the faith of that is suffusing the body. Did that feel like you were being danced?
Mm-hmm.
You know, that it felt like it because it's a waltz. And I went back to a memory of one time waltzing with someone who was like an absolute like master dancer, and he waltzed me. It's like that Leonard Cohen song that says, "Dance me to the end of love." But to be waltzed, you know, and it felt when I felt like in my body that I was flying, really. You know, I was. I'm not usually so good at, you know, being not the one who's not leading. But when you're with a really good dancer, and then
That was not me.
That was not
I
him.
let's just
No.
make sure you understand this.
It was Bob. It was Bob Henley. It was like,
God bless him.
God bless him. So that sense of surrender in the body, of trust, of being danced. I would like to live that. I'd like to live it. To be in that place.
Mm-hmm.
Marianne Williamson says, through openness and receptivity on the part of human consciousness, spirit is allowed to infuse our lives, to give them meaning and direction. So that infusion, so it's like my job is to become open and receptive, and then spirit flows in and does that infusion, which will give me the direction for that next step of the dance. So this process of surrendering in this of surrendering into this into God's hands is a practice that we do, moment to moment, surrendering into that embrace. And there is a part of the bedtime liturgy, which I think, it's said in the Talmud that death is 1/60th of, no, sleep is 1/60th of death. It's like a little taste of death. And in order to fall asleep, there is this kind of moment of surrender that needs to happen. And it's like a practice that we do every night for the final surrender in death into God's hands. And this practice that I want to do, I was asked to create a practice for a young man and his family who, when he was dying, and they wanted to sing something at his deathbed, and he was just like maybe 22 or something, and he was dying of a rare cancer, and I wanted to find a pasuk, a holy phrase that might help in the passage, and so in the bedtime liturgy, this phrase, I feel like it's helpful. It was helpful to him, to his family, but also I think for all of us. And it has 3 little phrases inside that phrase, and I just want to unpack it a little bit. It says, "Biyadacha afkid ruchi," and you might recognize that phrase from the Adonai, right? It has that same phrase, and from the psalm, there's a psalm also that maybe I can't remember which psalm it is. If somebody knows, they can put it in the chat, where that phrase also appeared. Into your hands I entrust my spirit. And then this other phrase happens, that padita oti, which is you redeem me. And that word padita, I think it's Aramaic actually. And if you ever, the same word as pidyon haben, the redemption of the firstborn, that's the ceremony that happens in Torah. So,
Psalm 30 was here.
what?
Psalm.
Oh, Psalm 31. I even said it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I even said it. So, padita oti, you redeem me. So actually, there is something happening in this gesture of surrender, is that I am being given my freedom. I'm paying for it with my life in this moment. I'm giving myself away, and I'm receiving my freedom in that moment. And then it says, Yah Ayl Emet, and it kind of it calls on this name of God, the God of truth. This is the honest truth. This is the bedrock of truth. In this moment that I touch, the God of truth, and it kind of the thing when you hear somebody has died, that phrase also comes in at that moment, So I just feel like it's a very powerful practice that I'd like to do with you, and to be aware of those 3 parts of it, that there's something that we're giving over, and we are, through that, we are being redeemed. We are being set free from our place of holding. And what we are calling on in that moment is this God of truth, which is kind of the truth of this very moment. Like I am liberated from the past so that I can enter into the truth of this moment.
And to be fully present.
Yeah. And I have to give myself in order for that to happen. I have to surrender my old ideas and I surrender the known to enter the unknown, to be given my freedom to be able to know the truth of this moment. Boy, everything is in this pasuk. So let's see if we can do this and very gently. Biyadcha afkid ruchi, padita oti Yah Ayl Emet, 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 biyadcha afkid ruchi, padita oti Yah Ayl Emet.
בידך afkid ruchi padita oti Yah Ayl Emet biyadcha afkid ruchi padita oti Yah Ayl Emet biyadcha afkid ruchi padita oti Yah Ayl Emet biyadcha afkid ruchi padita oti Yah Ayl Emet.
So as we lean into that divine embrace, as we surrender the small will, open to the greater will, and connect again with emunat hamoach, the faith in the mind, the emunat halev, the faith in the heart, emunat ha'evarim, the faith that suffuses our entire being. We feel in our bodies, in our flesh, in our bones. So whenever I teach about surrender, I always want to understand surrender in relationship to something is like a near cousin of surrender, a shadow of surrender, which is resignation. And I always want to discern what the difference is between that resignation, because you might have something, that is difficult and you need to surrender, but resignation is something a little different, and the way that I know it's different is that in that quality resignation, I am drained of energy. In that quality of surrender, I am filled with energy, and that's how I kind of can tell the difference. So sometimes there's something. It's like I'm always surrendering to what is. But I want that surrender to be a pathway to some new door opening that I couldn't see before. And if it's resignation, it's like a door that closes. So that's a kind of a giving over, and that word in English, surrender, is actually so interesting, because it's surrender, which means giving over to what is higher, and so the resignation is not that, so I'm always giving over to a higher vision, to a wider, to a more expansive, to that greater being that I am, and which means letting go of something small in me, which I seem to have to do pretty much
daily.
Every day.
It's a daily practice. Wouldn't you know?
So I want to do one more practice that's also about trust, but and the practice is says it calls up what's called Yom Ira, which is in the very day of fear, in the very moment of getting triggered. That's when I want to give this trust to you, God. And the way that I'd like to do this chant is to send a message to your future self. So right now we kind of like are in this place of, expansiveness with one another. But, one day in the future, perhaps, you will be triggered and you will forget everything. Because that's kind of what happens in the place of being triggered. It's like all your practices go out the window. Forget that you have a way back, so that place of trigger, that place, which is a kind of like a place of panic, a place where your reptilian brain kind of takes over, and you lose access with all of your wisdom.
Your wisdom and good intentions are in the forebrain, not back in the reptile brain.
Reptile brain.
Only up here.
So occasionally this might happen to some of us, is that we get triggered, and then we forget everything, and that's why we need each other to help us remember how to come back. But also, it feels like in our practice we are establishing pathways that we can come back through those pathways back to the place of the relaxation response, to the place of surrender, to the place of the divine embrace. We want to set it up. So I want to put in a program, really, to say the next time I am triggered, that Yom Ira place, that place of my fear, the next time I am triggered, I will automatically come back. I'll come back soon, so that I always say I want to come back before I do too much damage, because that's a place where I can actually do damage in that place to myself and to others. So on that very day that I fear, something else that this remembrance will be there for me, and I will come back into remembrance. Halavai, halavai. Wouldn't it be true? So let's program. Let's do that. Put that program in, and we'll send this to our future triggered self. Yom Ira, 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 Yom Ira. That part is talking about that place of fear, and then we're going to say, this is what will happen in that place. Ani aylecha, evtach. I will lean into God's embrace. Ani aylecha, evtach. Ani aylecha, evtach. Ani aylecha, evtach. Yom Ira, Yom Ira, Yom Ira, Yom Ira, Yom
Ani aylecha evtach Ani aylecha evtach Ani aylecha evtach Ani aylecha Yom Ira Yom Ira Yom Ira Yom Ira Yom Ani aylecha evtach Ani aylecha evtach Ani aylecha evtach Ani aylecha evtach Yom Ira 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 Ani aylecha evtach Ani aylecha
So close your eyes and feel yourself leaning into that divine embrace, and really feel that sensation in your body that allows you to relax, open, receive. And when you have a sense of that in your body, send it to your future self. So there will be a pathway back to center. And because we of this timeless time, we can do anything like that. We can sort of step outside of time. So I invite you to open your eyes, give a glance of gratitude to this community here of practice, of support. And I know that there are...
Sweet faces.
Thank you so much. Invite you to go to the website and give a little donation in honor in honor of the work that's so will be sustained in it. And also I'm doing this in-person retreat, this Soul Lift retreat in Tampa, the end of January, and I have 12 people signed up. I'm hoping that a few more people will sign up and be there to immerse ourselves in these practices for a week, because there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it to being on retreat and doing these practices. And so send a little blessing to all these faces here. And
if you need to leave, take that blessing with you.
So what we like to do is to take just 10 minutes to check in, not to give each other advice or anything, but just to check in on what
witness
of what this practice was like for you today. So anybody who wants to stay for 10 minutes to come into a group and just check in with each other. So everybody who's leaving, go, and anybody who's staying, I'm going to send you for 10 minutes. Right? Wait a minute. Okay, everybody here is staying?
Yeah.
Everybody is staying? All right, let's see. All right. Okay, I'll see you in 10.
And away they go.
Yeah. Let's see, everybody. Oh, Peggy's here.
Bless her heart.